Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do something a little bit different for prom, a little bit out of my comfort zone, so I did a mostly drugstore look for this. I used warm browns mixed with this cool blue icy shade, which I think is really fun. It's a great combination of colors, and I used the L'Oreal La Palette Nude for this, which is a beautiful compilation of warm brown tones, and this is a great palette. And then I just used this NYX Prismatic eyeshadow in the color Frostbite, and I think even though no one would probably ever think to pair these two shades together, I think they really work beautifully. I paired it with navy today, which is my favorite color to wear for a formal event. So I really hope you guys like this look. If you're going to prom, I really hope this helps you in some way. Or if you just want to wear this for a special occasion, a night on the town, it is totally appropriate for that. Heck, I'm probably going to be heading to the grocery store after this, and I'm definitely going to be rocking this eyeshadow. I hope you guys like this video, and if you want to know how I got this look right here, please keep on watching. Okay guys, so foundation, I'm going to use the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte, and I am mixing shades 101 and 103 here, still trying to figure out what my favorite combination is, and I'm going to apply this all over the face. This is going to be great for special occasion makeup because it's matte, so you're not going to need to worry about getting shiny throughout the night, and it also doesn't flash back in photography, which is really important when you're going to prom or special event. You want to make sure you're using a foundation that isn't going to flash back in photos. And I didn't apply a primer here, I just used moisturizer. That's my favorite way to use this foundation. Just moisturize and apply it straight, no primer needed. You want to make sure that you also blend this down your neck too and make sure everything is blended, especially if you're going strapless. And then for concealer, I'm going to use the Maybelline Master Conceal, and this is in the color Fair, and I have been loving this concealer. It's so light and easy to blend, but it really does cover everything you need it to cover. And I'm going to just use this on my under eyes just to give a little bit of concealing as well as a highlight. And I'm also going to use this on my eyelids as an eye primer. So you don't need to apply a separate eye primer before we do the eyeshadow. Just going to use the concealer. It will cover both steps. And I'm just doing this underneath my eyes and down my nose, which will add a beautiful subtle highlight to the skin. Of course, if you don't want this highlight, you can skip this, but I really love the way it looks, especially with this concealer. And then I'm going to go in with my NARS setting powder. This is obviously my favorite if you've watched my channel. If you want to use something from the drugstore, I would highly recommend the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. It is a beautiful powder. Or the NYX HD powder is also gorgeous as well. So either of those would give a beautiful finish to the skin. And I'm applying this all over, under eyes, and everywhere. So now I'm going to fill in my brows, and this is the Anastasia Brow Wiz in Caramel, my go-to. This is definitely worth the splurge in my opinion. It is amazing. I've used this for years and I've repurchased it over and over. I know that there are some other great brow pencils from the drugstore too, especially NYX are ones that I really like from the drugstore, but for me, this is definitely something that I will splurge on again and again. So just going through and filling in my brows as usual, making sure those babies look good in the mirror, and pretty self-explanatory. Just fill them into the shape you like, brush them through, and then I'm just going to set those with clear brow gel. You could use the Maybelline Clear Mascara for this. It also works well. Not as well as this one. This one's a bit stronger, but you could also use a hair gel with a mascara wand for this step as well. So now I'm going to go in with the La Palette Nude and take this medium matte brown shade, and I'm going to apply this in the transition area, just using back and forth windshield wiper motions and dusting that up. My eyes are a little bit droopy underneath my eyebrows, so I like to look in the mirror and see where I'm placing the color and kind of bring it up a little bit closer to my eyebrow where I have those droopy areas, so you can still see the color and so that it looks balanced. So I do a lot of looks in the mirror here just to make sure I'm placing the color where I want it to look and it looks okay once everything is in place. So just going back and forth, windshield wiper motions in that transition area above the crease. And now I'm going to go in with this little bit darker brown shade, and I am going to put that directly into the crease. I'm using a more tapered brush for this, which is going to allow me to get right into the crease and really place that color exactly where I want it. And I'm just going to be using windshield wiper motions again, and I am concentrating a little bit more in that very outer corner. I really like how that gives a nice kind of winged out cat eye effect, especially because we aren't going to be using cat eye liner in this look. And then reaching back into the palette, I'm going to take the lightest shimmery shade, and this is just the brush that comes in the palette, and I'm going to use that and lightly dust it on the brow bone. So now going in with the NYX Prismatic eyeshadow, and this is in the color Frostbite, and to apply this I am using just your typical applicator from any eyeshadow palette that you might get, and I did wet this with water. I tested this many different ways before filming this, and this was my favorite way to apply it. Use any sort of sponge tip applicator that you have, spray it down with water, and then dip it in the pan. I felt like this really intensified the look. This eliminated any fallout that you might get from using a brush, and it really let me place the color exactly where I want it. So I'm going to cover the whole eyelid with this, as well as place that in the inner corner for a highlight. And I went back and really packed this on because I really did want an intense look here. And I really just refined the shape, going back again and again until I was happy with it. So as you can see, both eyes are complete, and I'm just going back in again and making sure I have everything like I want. And now I'm going to go in with this darker matte brown shade, and I'm going to very lightly dust that in the crease just to blend everything together so that we don't have any harsh lines. But I don't want to blend out that beautiful blue shadow. So now I'm going to go back in with that medium matte shade, and I'm going to just dust this on the lower lash line. I'm just using the applicator that was in this palette. It works for these purposes. And then I am going to go back in with my crease brush and just smoke everything out and make sure that line looks very diffused. And then for eyeliner, I'm going to use the NYC Liquid Liner, and I'm going to do a very thin line here. I don't want a very dramatic eyeliner look, so I'm going to do just a very, very thin line, and this will define the eye just a little bit and give it a little bit more depth and dimension than if you went with no eyeliner. And this also is great for beginners because we are going to be using false lashes, and this really helps you disguise the lash band when you do a very thin line of eyeliner instead of no eyeliner at all. So you can see here the difference. It really just does define the eye a little bit. And then in this side, I kind of was going for it, and then I went almost out of frame. So this side was not nearly as good on camera as the other side, but you get the idea. Very thin liner. So now we're just going to go ahead and curl our lashes. Any eyelash curler, of course, will do for this. And then apply mascara. I'm using Buxom. It's my tried and true. I love it. You could also use L'Oreal Telescopic. That is a great drugstore alternative mascara. You can use any mascara for this because we're going to be applying falsies. So we just really want to give a nice coat to the lashes here. And then for falsies, I'm going to be using the Ardell Wispies. These are my favorite drugstore lashes, and I'm going to apply those very, very close to the lash line and pin those in place. I noticed after this filming that I should have gone back because I had a little bit of shadow get on the lash band and it left a white cast. So make sure when you're done applying your lashes, you go back in with the eyeliner again and just brush that on the lash band to cover anything that might have shown up on the band. And then after this, I just went back and refined everything. I felt like the lower lash line wasn't smoky enough, so I just went back and smoked that out a little bit more. And then for blush, I'm using this beautiful blush from Milani. It's called Luminoso, and I'm just using a $3 e.l.f. blush brush for this. And this is an awesome blush, a great brush. And I'm not using any bronzer for this. I just really wanted to have a really pretty cheek and not have any bronzer or anything on the skin. You can of course bronze the face if you like, but for this look I decided I didn't want to do that, so just blush. And then for lips, I'm using the NYX Butter Lipstick in the color Snow Cap, and this is a really beautiful peachy nude. It would go with anything. So I'm just first going to apply that to the lips, and then I'm going to go back in with NYX Butter Gloss, and this is in the color Maple Blondie, just patting that on the lips and adding a little bit of gloss. And that is the finished look, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really had a fun time doing it, and please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you in my next one.